gone in and and attended. So that's sort of yes, no, have you done that? And then if a follow-up would be, what would you bring to the commission that's unique, that you think it might be lacking? Or just the arts community in general, what you could add. So shall we choose? Should we do a coin flip or something? Should we go first with Becca?
Sure, let's start with Becca, and then we will switch for different answers.
Yeah, be fair.
Okay. No, I have not yet. I've been wanting to sit on council meeting or the commission meetings. But I have read some of the meeting notes, the documentation on the council meetings, documentation, and also the strategic agenda and the public art plan for the council. I am a lifelong Bloomingtonian, so I've lived here my entire life. So to answer the second part of the question, I wanted to sort of give back to the community. So I'm going to school for arts administration now. I've also gotten my background in studio art. And so now that I'm sort of getting a little bit older and getting my degree in arts administration, I'm wanting to sort of give back to my community in this way, in a meaningful way that matters to me, since I am a lifelong resident of Bloomington. And so to me, that means sitting into these meetings and being on the Arts Commission, where I feel like I'll be able to make a difference in my own community. And so part of that also was sort of working in projects that I think matter to me and sort of grant making. And so I have sat, so second part of that, to piggyback off that, I've been a grant reviewer for the NEA, and I've been a grant reviewer for the Indiana Arts Commission as well. So I have some background in sort of grant reviewing, but I'd like, again, to sort of get back to my own community in a meaningful manner, and also work on public art. So in a way that's a little bit different for that. And so work on this big one that's actually happening, that I know is being built with the convention center that I drive by every day, actually every evening. So to me, that would be very meaningful for me to actually have involvement in that, in a way that's, giving back to my community in an arts way, where I'm actually working towards something bigger than myself. So, and what I'm working for. So.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
Austin?
I guess to answer the first question, no, I have not been on any council meetings or anything like that. This is all purely from folks who have been directly involved, just kind of reaching out to me and just saying, I think you would be into this. I think you should really go for it. And then so I guess my reason for doing it is kind of it's more like you see if this is a good fit really. But I moved here about 13, 14 years ago. I'd like to consider myself now a lifer. And I came here, as most people do, to go to the school and see what's going on. But I came for music engineering, and it was really silly of me because I didn't even apply to it. And I didn't know what the process was. I was just like, I just want to do music engineering. It's like, did you get accepted? I'm like, no. And no, I didn't. I'm just gonna go to it, but that didn't happen at all. And so I ended up interning at a studio, and I was there at Russian Studio, and through it I realized that I actually don't like music engineering at all, but I do like music. And so through that passion for music and art, I still was able to carve a way through Bloomington to where I work at secretly now. And throughout those years, I've met people that are like-minded who, kind of take the path less taken, where it's like, a lot of people have this formal education and things like that, and that's really awesome. But then there's a lot of people who just like art, and the city still reaches out to help them. And it's helped me. Like, I've been a recipient of one of the arts grants, and it's been awesome. And so I feel like that would be my niche in the committee if chosen, where it's like I'm looking out in the for Bloomington, where it's like there's all kinds of folks around here who might not be a part of the main establishment, but still need to be looked after in the same way to curate that kind of, that different perspective. So ultimately, that would be my goal, was like to work, obviously with the university, to work with any organization that we can, but also just keeping an extra eye out for for the little guy in that way, which is, they're very much as part of Bloomington as Bloomington has made me.
Got it.
Thank you.
Where'd you come from, by the way?
Northwest Indiana in
Okay.
Chesterton.
Okay.
Well, I have a question. It is a little bit of a sensitive nature. I'm sorry to bring this on you guys. As of yesterday, our director of public art is no longer employed at the city. So I don't like it. It's not me to bring it on you.
No, I read the email
okay.
today from the ESD director.
How do you all feel about operating in moments of transition, and how can you help provide the Bloomington Arts Commission with a moment of stability that it really might need right now? We'll start with Austin, yes.
All right, so like I said, I'm now a Bloomington lifer who lives right on the city square, actually. Since I don't really know anything that's going on, I definitely like to, all right, okay, I'm not going anywhere. So as far as there's that immediate physical stability, but I've been employed at Secretly for 8 years. I haven't, jumped ship or been looking for other things. So it's like when I decide to be a part of something, I'm in it for the most part for the long haul. And that's about all I got. I'm like, as I'm taking it all in, I'm eager to find out what were the issues of the past that we can work towards in the future. So to me, it seems like a fresh start.
Becca?
Yeah, I actually would agree with what Austin says. So I've worked in not just in the arts, well, working towards, my art degree, or working towards in the art scene here, even at IU, or, trying to work towards being in the Arts Commission here in Bloomington and just giving back to my community. But even prior to that, and just my background before coming into IU, I've worked under considerable amounts of stress, working in public safety, working for the Indiana State Police, and just moments of uncertainty and unclarity. And I think just piggybacking off of what actually Austin said, and just sitting down and sort of realizing what needs to happen, and what were the issues that sort of led to this, and what needs to happen moving forward, and how can we all come together, and how can we all move forward together for the commission, for the art scene, and as a community, I think is what really would need to happen for the Arts Commission. So I actually would agree with what Austin said. So.
You have another question? I can respond.
Go ahead. Do you know if there's gonna be a liaison? Because both Chaz and Holly have left. And, I mean, I would hope that there'd be somebody from ESD who would.
Jane ran the Bloomington Arts Commission yesterday for,
Oh,
don't know.
right, they met last night.
Yes.
Forgot.
Jane Cooper Smith is the
Yeah.
Director of Economic and Sustainable Development. She ran the meeting yesterday, which is actually where they announced
Got it.
that Holly and Chaz are
Okay,
no longer
so she'll
employed.
probably do it in the interim.
I believe they're looking at Christina Alem as someone who might be able to supplement some of the work that Holly was doing. Which I don't know if I was supposed to share, but I did, and it's too late to take it back now. So
It was said yesterday on the meeting,
Oh.
so.
perfect.
Mhm.
So I'm the council liaison to the Bloomington Arts Commission, so I would be the person that you guys could, if there's anything arts related on the council side of things that you think that we could pursue, that I would be the person you could come to about that. There are a couple different subcommittees, including the subcommittee on public art and like the grants subcommittee, which I know Austin, you said that you received one of those,
Yeah.
which is great. And I guess I'm just wondering what commission or what subcommittee would you be interested in being on? And yeah, what would you be interested in pursuing on that subcommittee? And we'll start with Becca.
Yeah. Well, so it's interesting. So I think I've thought about this question about which subcommittee I would have sat on. And I would normally, being comfortable, probably would have gone for like the grant committee, just because, like, okay, I did worked with, did an internship for the Center for Rural Engagement, and I worked with, local communities, southern communities, and I helped them sort of get grants for public art, and that felt like amazing, and that felt very validating for, communities to get grants for art and artists for public art. But since I've sat on, review boards for committees, that feels very natural for me, but I think I want to sort of like get outside of my comfort zone and sit on, like, I think I would want to do the public art subcommittee, and sort of help oversee if there's anything else that needs to be done with, like, the obviously the strategic plan for public art I think is underway. But also I think there's probably new directions that might need to go, or new ways that I could probably help spearhead that. I don't know if there's partners that need to happen at IU that I might be able to help bring in and be like a liaison for that, or just working with other community partners for that, and just help spearhead that project. I think would be really exciting for me, that I'd love to sort of help sit on. So yeah, the subcommittee for public art would be really exciting, I think, and just different.
Great, thank you. Austin?
Well, truthfully, I'm not familiar with all of the subcommittees. Sounds a little overwhelming just off the bat, but really it would be more, wherever the people that are already established here, I think would be a great fit for someone that, like myself, who's looking to enhance, I guess those unturned stones, and just ultimately looking towards, wherever I can help. I would say that, grants, but that's really because that's the only thing I can think of right now where you are overlooking, like, all right, what is this project you need help with? I know you need it. I know you need the money, but does Bloomington need it? And then just kind of, gauging, like, does Bloomington need this as much as we want to help, but we'd also rather help someone that's like, we both fulfill what you want to do and what we're trying to do ultimately, as opposed to just, throwing money out. But yeah, I guess just kind of going with the fine tooth comb and just ultimately picking the best one, like just really not just giving money out. I'm sure there's, I don't want to say plenty, but I'm sure there's money, but like just really making sure that we're being as economical as possible and getting the most bang for buck, helping and spending. So I guess I'm pretty conservative in that way, where it's just like I just want it to really matter. So yeah, I guess in any kind of committee where it's something like that, where it's like this person's really cares about the money and the, as opposed to just throwing it all out there. So I would say that.
Thank you.
Time for one more. So one of the duties of the Arts Commission members is to facilitate connections between City of Bloomington staff, artists, artist groups, and so forth. And I wondered about both of your connectivity with artists in the community and sort of your circles. Do you feel well connected? And could you give maybe a couple examples?
Sure. Yeah. Just throughout my time in Bloomington, it's been so weird where it's like you just make friends everywhere the oddest ways, where whether it be hanging out at a bar and you go there enough times that, hey, I know the owner, and then they're like, hey, I'm looking for a DJ tonight or something, like, which is actually how I became a DJ. He's like, you do music. I'm like, DJing is a completely different thing, but I guess, and now that's like actually a side job that I do. I have a whole rig that just started from a white lie that I told where I just played Spotify all night. But during that, or it's like, hey, do you know a photographer? And it's like, I think I do. And then just kind of building that throughout the years, and especially through my job at work, we have to find, like, hey, we have an artist in town. Can you show them things like that? So it's just by naturally being in the town and the town lending itself to me that you just build these connections. And so I would say that I know quite a bit of people that do all kinds of stuff, and just that kind of natural relationship is, yeah.
Good. Okay, thank you. Becca?
Yeah, pretty similar to Austin. I have some connections now working. So I have it's very low key, but a part-time student advisory board position at the Eskenazi Museum of Art. And so I'm meeting constantly meeting new artists there. I also know some of the people at the University of McCalla as well. And then also just in my personal life, I have some dancer friends and they have photographer. I'm a part-time, not part-time, but I'm sort of like a freelance photographer myself. So I sort of in the art scene myself, and I just know a lot of people as well, sort of just like being around in the community. And so yeah, just having a lot of friends that sort of know friends that, you know, are in the sort of the art scene in the community. And then also just, you know, I know a lot of people at IU that work, you know, in the Center for Rural Engagement who are community partners, who know artists and other artists everywhere. So yeah, so I'm kind of well connected in the community with just a lot of different people, dancers, photographers, just other artists. So yeah.
Okay, terrific. Anything else? Did you ask about obligations? You know, it's required, okay. Yeah, I understand this commission is a 2-year appointment, right?
Mhm.
And it requires about 5 hours a month. Nothing wrong with giving more, of course. And it meets, what does it meet?
Second Wednesday of every month.
Yeah, could you both commit to that? I mean, is it? Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
You do have the option to do virtual meetings, but I believe there are some issues with quorum. So it's preferred that commissioners can come in person for the majority of the meetings, but it's all right if you need to be on Zoom.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no more questions.
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, you guys should hear in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much for your time and for your interest.
Sure.
Thank you so
And
much.
yes, you should hear from us soon. Thanks.
You'll definitely hear from us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes.
Hi, Becca.
Bye, Becca.
Bye.
Bye.
Folks.
Thanks.
Great to meet you, Austin.
Great to meet you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
It's nice to see somebody else from the 219 area.
219 all the time.
That's me.
Where are you from?
Gary.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Mom lives in Hammond. I'm from Chesterton,
Yeah.
LA of Chicago, and
Yep.
yeah. Oh, I feel like I was.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah. No.
All right, take it easy, y'all.
Bye, have a good
Hi,
evening.
Austin. So Isabel's not here, but do you want to discuss it a little bit?
Do we have 2 vacancies in one?
We,
There's 2 total. You all have 1 and the mayor's office.
that's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one.
Mm.
You know, you're a liaison, so you know this about this section, but what I like about Austin is he's got a lot of experience in sort of music and
Mhm.
and production and set design. It sounds like he came up from his own bootstraps kind of thing, as opposed to, I mean, clearly a formal education. But he didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like so many people that I know in sort of the arts community, I don't know many, but they're very, you know, obviously you go to school for it, you get masters, things like that.
Different journey.
Yeah, it's a different journey. Now, the good thing about Becca is, I mean, she's got like grant reviewing, you know, and connections with, you know,
Yes.
statewide agencies.
Which I thought was cool.
Yeah. So it's a little tough here. What's your view? I mean, you know, what caught my attention about Austin was his resume and his experience with, you know, music and everything. And is that really represented on the Arts Commission? I mean, there are different, obviously, visual arts, performance arts, you know, painting, sculpting,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But he's really into the production and music scene.
Yeah, I think that would be a different perspective. And the other thing is like BAC is very um I don't think there are a lot of young people on it, which
Yeah.
is okay, but like I would like to see some different faces.
Yep.
So I think that I'd be more, are you leaning towards Austin? Cause I'm leaning as well.
I like Rebecca a lot. I don't know if the mayor has anyone in mind.
I was just about to ask Julius, but it looks like he's out of office, so I will
Okay.
ask him tomorrow.
Okay.
I do know before, Holly left that she did recommend Austin
Okay.
for an appointment.
Oh, is that right?
Mhm.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
For those very reasons that you mentioned.
Is that right?
Oh,
Mhm.
well, then that's helpful.
So I tip toward Austin,
Okay.
but you know, she's a really strong candidate too. Maybe we could provide a recommendation to the mayor that, especially for things like finding money. I mean, we need, you know, everybody needs money,
Everybody,
especially artists.
especially artists.
Yeah.
I also liked what he had to say about like connecting like Bloomington's need for different art pieces with like where we're directing grants. I thought that was a really interesting point to bring up because he's right, we do have certain art projects proposed that are
Mhm.
like, they're cool, but they're maybe not Bloomington, or
Right.
we already have something like it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, we could, I mean, do you want to wait till, is Isabel gonna come at 4:30? I don't know if she's gonna come at all.
If she was even
Yeah.
able to.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we could, do you want to wait for her or do you want to make a recommendation and just go with it?
It's up to you. You get to make the motion, so whichever one you'd like, I will second if you make it.
Well, you know, I don't
You
want to
can
leave
wait if
Isabel
you'd
out,
like to.
but yeah, let's go ahead. Because we've got a lot of, I was looking, we do have a lot of boards and commissions to appoint, don't we? Overall.
got through majority of them last week in your meeting. And so
So
for
we're-
your particular
We're doing
thing,
okay?
you guys are good. Now remember, I just pulled up on board. There was the discussion last month about one of the persons who applied for reappointment that's currently on there. It was, I mean, so technically you could reappoint this individual. If you decide not to reappoint them, then you technically have two.
Can you remind us of the context? Oh, she was recommended for not being reappointed.
Yes, simply because it seems like that this person gets a task, and as they get a task, they don't follow through with it, and it's after
Gotcha.
so many different conversations, the tasks just seem to just fall through.
Okay, well,
Mhm.
in that case, do you wanna move to appoint both? Yeah. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
What are the seats that are open?
It'll be 5, and then right now oh, 1 second. Remember you didn't, there was the conversation, so technically you have two, but you wanted to interview those two to
Mhm.
figure out, if you wanted to replace the individual in this seat. Because Gerard was
Yes.
highly recommended.
Yes.
To
he's
be
doing a great
reappointed.
job, and he is chair.
He's chair.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, he's not chair anymore.
Oh.
Netta is the new chair,
Oh.
but he's chairing, I think, the grants committee. So that, and that is gonna be a committee that needs stability. So I would say he should stay
Okay, so we need to reappoint him.
to seat C4.
Yes,
And, do you wanna move to appoint Austin to seat C5?
Yes, well, I can, yeah, so we have to reappoint, what's his name?
Gerard.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Hanover.
No,
Is it his name? Gerard Penovic
no way, guys.
and Penovic?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll
Yeah.
make a motion to reappoint Gerard Penovic to seat C4.
Second.
Okay. And
Gonna make the multiple motion or should-
you could
Okay.
do it in one fell swoop.
Okay, I'll move to appoint Austin White, I think, to seat C5.
Okay,
Second.
all right, and Zulik
Yes.
and Rollo.
Yes.
Okay. And that's it there. And then at 4:30, we should be having 3 individuals in front of us for the commission on the status of children and youth.
Yes. Well, we're waiting on that.
You are recording.
No. This is something that we gotta talk about. Are you here for?
Hi, yeah.
Hello, welcome in. See,
I'm Andrea. Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too. I'm Sydney.
Nice to
Meet you.
Hello.
Hello.
You guys ready for me?
Come in.
Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
Sydney.
Hello.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
Sydney, Dave. Dave, yeah.
Andrea.
Okay.
We have one other person joining us.
Supposed. I think this individual is supposed to be,
Oh,
and so it says. Yep. Matthew.
okay. Well. We'll get started, I guess, at 4:30.
And the doors are open.
So I have.
Yeah, I have the thing on there that says. The door open. Okay. I know with the painting, what's that?
Yeah, the sculpture is covered. It's 4:30. Everyone ready? Yes. Great. Welcome, everyone. I'm Councilmember Sydney Zulik. This is Councilmember Dave Rollo. And this is Deputy Clerk Jennifer Crossley. Welcome. Thank you guys so much for your interest in the Commission on the Status of Children and Youth. This is going to be a pretty low-key interview. It's just we're going to ask a couple questions about interest, some topics, and then feasibility of commitment. And then in the next couple of weeks, you should expect to hear back from Deputy Clerk Crossley with an answer one way or the other. You will hear regardless. So thanks for being here. Would you like to start or I can start?
We'll go. Great to meet you. We had a third person who.
Yes.
is
Yeah, and I
Not
haven't
here.
seen any emails.
Okay, maybe they'll arrive. But in the meantime, curious to know whether either or both of you have watched the commission, gone to a commission meeting, read minutes of the commission. That's one question. And then the second question is, what do you think you might bring to the commission that's unique or maybe even needed in your view that may not be there?
I'll go.
Okay.
Yes, I did read through some of the minutes. I did some of that yesterday and some of that today. You're not super current, up to date on your site. But sorry there. But I did read through it. I had I run the Banneker Community Center, you guys probably know, so I'm pretty dialed in to youth stuff in general. Running an after-school program on behalf of the city, running a large summer camp on behalf of the city for the underserved. Dealing with a lot of different nonprofits throughout my work and coordinate them, being a part of the after school network program. Like I know a lot of people. And I had a long history of youth work anyway, from coaching sports, basketball in particular, to running a youth league way back when I was in high school even. I worked for Monroe County Schools, I worked for Lawrence Community Schools, I worked for a nonprofit called Blue River Services, which was inside the schools down in Jackson County. And then obviously a ton of youth work at Banneker, so I feel pretty dialed in on what's going on. I feel like I can communicate with people, I kind of know the issues of the town a little bit. I may not always have all the answers to different things, but at least I might know all the players and all the people and have connections with different things and hopefully, that kind of expertise and that kind of experience, both in the classroom and in the nonprofit world and now with the city can help out.
Well, you said a lot of what you would bring. Do you see anything particularly lacking that isn't, you know?
It's hard to tell until I dive in it and see, there might be.
You can say just the community at large, not necessarily.
Yeah, I think there might be, I mean, there's lots of things. There's a disconnect in some ways between the university and the city and the town, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
And there's a lot of overlapping resources that don't, that are there, but no one knows, they don't communicate well enough to, and don't get utilized as well. We're a little bit inefficient, I would say, in that regard. Also, there are a huge amount of nonprofits in this town who are doing tremendous work. But they don't always know what each other are doing, and there's a lot of duplicated effort, a lot of issues that can be potentially solved if they just had a link to do that. Now, I've been working to do that with Banneker. I've got Mayor Thompson to hold those nonprofit town hall meetings. We're getting ready to have our next one next month, and we bring all the town halls together and we do it at Banneker, and that's been a really good thing. Because we've got to be able to, you know, here's this person's problem, this youth group's problem. Okay, you get the same problem. So let's link that together, and then this guy here can solve it, and we want to do that to some degree, but I think there's more of that to be done. I also think there can be, and I don't think this is necessarily the commission's fault or anybody's fault really, but the school system's not the greatest always at communication. There's a way to, they mean well. I'm not trying to talk derogatorily about them. I have a good relationship with the school system. Talk to them quite often, especially with the Fairview people, but I think that there's ways that we should work better together to pool resources, to get things out there to the kids and the families that need it. And they're not always as cooperative as they could be, and maybe there's a way to solve that.
Thank you. Thank you. Ingrid?
Yeah, so I think that I could very much bring a good voice to the commission. Coming from I work for the Boys and Girls Club. I'm a program director there. So I've been there since 2019. I started volunteering when I started at IU. I'm from Indianapolis. But I've been here ever since, and I've been at the Boys and Girls Club ever since. I've experienced a lot of needs just from directly being like working with the kids. But now that I'm a program director, I've been able to step into a role where I'm not just communicating with the kids. Now I get to hear about the needs from the kids, but as well as the families that are involved. And so I would really love to just be able to provide a voice to the commission from that perspective. I think that is something that might be missing from the current commission. I did look up everyone that sits on the commission. And I looked in like their LinkedIn profiles and stuff like that, because I was curious, like who's actively working with the youth in the community. And I think that's something that I could provide and bring to the table. I'm not expecting to like come in guns blazing. I know action starts small, especially from like a city standpoint. There's a lot of, a lot of red tape. There's a lot of like people you need to talk to before action can actually be implemented. And I'm a very patient person, but I do follow through with action. And I think that's something that I've learned through my nonprofit work, and something that, because when I was 18 and I started at the Boys and Girls Club, I did come in a little guns blazing, and I was like expecting to, fill a need for every single kid that I interacted with, and take action as soon as someone told me something. I was like, okay, this kid's always hungry. How can we connect them to community kitchen? Like, I had that more like an approach that was, like I said, guns blazing. But now throughout my time at the club, I understand that that's not necessarily how action takes place. And now I understand there's a lot more that happens behind the scenes. There's a lot more conversations that need to occur. And I think in general, I'm just really interested in, like I said, providing a voice from the parents that I interact with on a daily, and connecting them to the resources that this commission seems to gather. And that was like what really piqued my interest in the first place, was the work of promoting connections within the community and connecting the community to resources that exist. Because I see that as a current need for a lot of families here in Bloomington. But yeah, much short and sweet, hopefully, but that's kind of what I hope to bring to the table.
Informative, thank you.
Which boys you where were you at?
I'm at the Lincoln Street
Like a
Club.
trade, Jack, okay.
Yes.
Okay, Sydney. Your turn.
Didn't know what they mean.
They actually are about to meet next week, so I think it's the third Tuesday.
Yeah, it's the third,
Let me look
third Tuesday.
at that
Okay.
officially here. Survey says. Yes, third Tuesday starting at 5:30.
5:30.
Mhm.
Is that a time commitment that both of you are able to make?
Yeah, so when I applied for this, I think it was like November, September maybe. I had started talking to my supervisor at the club and I was like, hey, this is something I feel really passionate about, but I don't necessarily want to even like put my name in the ballot unless we think that this would work for the team. So I did talk that through with my supervisor and we're willing to make it work. Cause it is, from my understanding, the meetings are once a month, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then yeah, I should be able to make it work.
Yeah, I don't see why I would have a problem that, you know, I can never guarantee what random park stuff is gonna come up and they're gonna. You know, hey, you have to go here and do this,
Right.
but generally speaking, I don't see any reason why Tuesday at 5:30 would be a problem.
Great, thank you.
My manager's only 5 minutes from here, so it's not like that's
Yeah,
hard to get here.
real. Dave, do you have any other questions?
Well, I just asked,
You don't have to ask another question if you don't want to.
well, I've got a personal, I mean, it's not personal. It's a personal topic that I, you know, I find what I read about kids, and it's a long time since I was one. And but social media has a big impact on that.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, social media was not, I mean, right? It was just like your friends and
We're a couple of years apart, right?
family. Anyway, you know, is this a concern? Do you find it's a concern among kids,
Yeah, I
like
think it's
especially young girls? You know, there's like a,
self-esteem aspect to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
They go at each other and stuff like that. Boys trend to play games and stuff. It's
Yeah.
not that doesn't affect them, but it sucks up time.
Yeah,
It's like they're always on their, right?
yeah, it's definitely an attention issue, I
Yep.
would say.
Yep.
I'm excited because this is one of the things that I personally am really passionate about. Because I have a background in psychology and neuroscience, that's what I studied at IU. So in my free time, I like to read up on this and like research and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like the attention deficit that this generation of kids is experiencing is, I think, a huge need that needs to be talked about. This is something that like I bring to the table at the Boys and Girls Club in our like big org meetings.
Yeah.
Is like, hey, I think we really need to get ahead of the game and switch up our approach of how we work with kids, just because that is a huge issue. And not just social media, there is that like self-esteem aspect or like the idea that they're only comfortable socializing behind a screen, I think is a huge issue. That's something that we try to tackle in our programming with kids is like community building, social emotional learning skills. Just because we try really hard to make sure that we get kids in a spot where they feel comfortable just interacting with each other aside from the screens, you know?
Nice.
So that's a huge thing that I feel really passionate about. And I've seen the difference even, like I said, in 2019, I started volunteering at the club. And even those kids that I started out working with, their ability to like commit to an activity or stay at a table and like do a craft or like even just have a conversation if the staff is going over something, like the attention difference that I see from those kids 7 years ago to now, it's crazy what a difference it like social media and screens have just made an impact and the impact they have on kids. And like an idea that I would love to like bring maybe to this commission is I would love to like get parents talking about it a bit more, because I think it's a little too normalized in their, like from their viewpoint, like they're not seeing the impact that it's having on their kids, because this is all they know as well,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I would love to find ways to connect them to like the research that's being done and show them, I guess, the effects of what putting a kid in front of a screen does, you know?
Mhm. Great, Scott.
I've got a lot to say on that topic too. This is where maybe I could come in handy because there are people in town who will come in and talk to the children about things just like that. I had Middle Way House come and do a whole mental health program with my after school kids.
Yeah, but
There you go. The year before I had the IU psychology department come in and do similar type of things. We went device free in our after school program just because of that. It's necessarily a little more old school with what we're trying to do there. I don't want the kids on their phones. I don't want the kids on, I don't even down my iPhones really, but they do, but, I don't want them on an iPad. I want them interacting and behaving and doing things and being active in that way. In terms of social media itself, not just a screen, but just the social media aspect itself, it's part of life. Unfortunately, the kids probably of the age now and of the young age of her, remember, it didn't matter to us. Social media to you and I was the gossip we heard on the back of the school bus.
Mhm.
But to her, everybody's on their device, on their phone and interacting. We had, I dealt with a lot of this last summer with our summer camp program when we had do you remember when the 13-year-old girl or 14-year-old girl was found dead on the south side of town? Remember that? You do? Yeah, that was,
Last year?
I think it was last summer. There was a lot of, that was a Banneker kid, a Banneker girl who'd come to summer camp the year before, and many of the campers had remembered her and friends with her and whatever. But there were all, where I'm getting to is the social media aspect. That story blew up very, very quickly. And was affecting a lot of the parents and a lot of the kids, and I had to deal with this one evening to the next, as this also as a story grow, just because of the prevalence of the social media aspect of it, the false stories that came out, the exaggerations, the untruths that came out there. I had to scramble. We had to bring in, we brought in a psychologist, child psychologist from Centerstone. I got the BPD involved with their social worker, and they all came in and we had a big session with each group of kids and talked them through it and had to, send them stuff out to the parents and whatever, trying to handle that, just because social media is a aspect of it that the kids and families have to deal with. And I think there's probably something to be said for teaching the kids how to use it themselves. We haven't really dove into that too much yet, but we may in the summer, but how to be a good quality user of it yourself, not just interpret what other people are doing, but use it themselves in a positive, constructive way. So there's a lot of ways to go there and a lot of things to do.
yeah, I feel like that's kind of the direction the Boys and Girls Club is taking, because I don't see a sense of fighting it in terms of like trying to convince kids to not use it. I think it's more now we need to refocus of like, okay, this is the reality that we live in. How do we appropriately use it? We did that middle way program as well. And our 3rd through 5th graders, we do like digital safety trainings before they can use any technology at our clubs. And that kind of walks them through like what's appropriate information to put online versus what's inappropriate. And just like, I guess focusing more on like maybe what can we do to prevent, tragic things from happening? Because like I said, there's no sense in fighting it. They're gonna use it. Parents aren't gonna just magically stop letting them have iPads or, social media or anything, but that's why I kind of want to find a way to branch that communication, not just to the kids, but to the parents as well, because at the end of the day, they're gonna have the biggest impact on whether or not their kid uses something.
Yeah, and this is a parent school issue too. I mean, after school people like her and I can only do so
So much,
much. I mean,
yeah.
ultimately they live with their parents and they're gonna be allowed to do, what their parents allow them to do. And too many of them use a screen as a babysitter to kind of occupy their kids. They don't have to do what they need to be doing.
Yeah.
It affects older kids too. I mean, her and I mostly, not totally, but mostly work with elementary age kids, but high school kids too. I remember when I was coaching high school basketball, you know, we had a young lady at the school sent out an inappropriate picture to her boyfriend, who then in turn sent it to every single friend he had, who then pretty soon it was all over the school, and we had the state police and everybody else there, and I've got my players sitting there who have obviously seen it, and I'm like, can't have this, boys, and we had to have a long talk about, you know, being responsible and what's appropriate and what's not, and so.
Yeah.
So,
Well, excellent responses. I'm glad you're on top, you're both on top of it.
Yeah.
Cause it worries me a lot. But anyway, that's all I'm doing.
Cool. Thank you both so much for your time and for your interest.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, you should hear from Deputy Clerk Crossley in the next few weeks. The reason that it takes so long is because we are an interview committee that makes a recommendation to council as a whole to make the appointment. And so you will hear when that is all finalized. And so that
You're
just
doing just
takes
one
a couple
spot?
weeks. I don't.
So there's two, and so these guys here are responsible for the council appointments, and so it looks like there is another spot for the mayor's office. I can't speak to what they might have in mind. But they're just like right now, council just has one spot to fill on this.
I don't wanna take anyone's time, but I just had a question. Am I-
Sure.
All right, I was just curious how like current needs are assessed, like how does this group collect community information or like? Or, cause I was just curious, cause I did look over the minutes and like the agendas and stuff, but there's not a lot of detailed information. I'm sure you guys are aware. But I was just curious, like what that looks like, or how do you get the voices? Where is that impact coming from, type of thing?
It's a good question for the staff liaison, probably.
Okay.
I don't think that either of us are liaisons to that.
We have received reports at council. They have come and reported in the past. But I don't know the specifics of it, you know,
Like what's being used?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, so can't help you there.
I do
Right.
think that they try and listen into, and also the staff liaison is also responsible for making sure all of these things are updated.
Yeah,
So if you looked online, which is a good thing that both of you all did, it hasn't been updated by staff liaison, so oopsies on the staff liaison there. But I do believe in listening to some of the reports that they've given to council. And just in general, it seems like they try to work in tandem with the other groups, with
Right.
students. I do know, I think they've done a lot with the Boys and Girls Club. Or not Boys and Girls Club, what's the whole community corporation, MCCSC. I'm like, it's the big school corporate, at the end of the day, and my brain is gone.
hours.
No worries. And so they've, worked with them as well. And I also think that they, yeah, I think that's the big thing, because some of the things that they do here as well is I think they do it with another commission. They'll also do things like the welcome back to school. And they'll partner with the Commission on Status of Black Males.
Mhm.
And we'll do like a welcome back to school at Fairview.
Yeah.
Usually every year they do
The
that.
Fairview thing, and stand out there,
Mhm.
high five.
And so that's something,
Sign.
yeah, so that's something that they do. Of course, the staff liaisons and things like that would know more. I also highly encourage that you all go to the meeting, and you can go hybrid as well Tuesday at 5:30. And to get a little bit more, or inquire a little bit more too. I know that their staff liaison actually is leaving the city. We got notice that they are leaving the city, so I think Director Moss will, be taking over for that too.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, without Andrew, and Zeta,
Mhm.
Toby yesterday.
Mhm.
Out of
Thank
here.
you.
Great to meet you both.
All right,
Nice.
Okay, and
thank
we
you.
will be in touch.
Thank you.
Enjoy the.
If you haven't read The Anxious Generation, have you read that book? or
I've heard of
it?
that.
You should really read it. If like the whole screen social media thing is something you're interested in.
Yeah,
So it's not like, it's meant to be like basic level. I guess it's not for like, it wasn't written for like someone that already knows a lot about it. It's supposed to be a good like introductory into like research and data and
Okay.
people that are in that market.
Yeah.
But just a recommendation.
I appreciate that. Check it out. Um, I'm anxious.
I am interested.
Really good book, it's worth everyone's read, I would say.
Yeah,
All right, good to see you all.
You too.
have a good evening. Be well.
Nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting
Same
you. Have a
here.
good evening.
Thanks. Thank you.
So we got a few minutes here.
Yeah,
Very impressive, both of them.
definitely.
And we have seat C1 is the only,
Correct.
our only
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
option. Isabel said something about needing a male,
She said a young,
young male,
yeah.
another
I don't know
male
which
commissioner
is-
or someone who is under 24.
I wonder if she's talking about Lucas, Matthew Lucas,
Matthew Lucas,
Oh,
just,
another male commissioner or someone who was 24.
he is, he withdrew his application.
Today.
Yes. So got busy
Okay,
and let's see.
okay.
Yep.
They could benefit from
Mhm.
another male commissioner. Okay,
well, this one's really tough.
this is tough.
Well, they're both, I think they're both excellent. I mean, he's certainly got threads and has done a lot, is really engaged and, obviously would add a lot. She seems to have a lot of energy.
But he's employed by the city,
He's what?
employed by the city.
Yes, he is.
So does that inherently present a conflict of interest?
Yeah, doesn't Jennifer? Yeah.
You know, that's an interesting take because we do have a handful of city employees on boards and commissions,
Mhm.
like a very minute amount. However, I think in his particular case, it's a little interesting because technically children and youth, and he works at the Banneker Center, that's a different situation. It's almost like, I know there are some staff members who might be on like, they're like, they're employed by the city, but they're on something that is completely different from their job. And so this particular one could present a conflict.
Well, so does he report to?
Mhm.
Does he report?
So
To
that would
Tim
be,
Street?
I think so, because it would be parks.
Okay,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
I would feel strange about having someone who works in the mayor's administration also be council's representative on a board.
Yeah, I mean, if Carrie wants to appoint him,
Yeah, I think that would make perfect
that would
sense,
make
but
more
I'm
sense.
not sure that we should pick that to be our representative, just because I do think that
Yeah,
like there will be times, there could be times where like our expectation is something completely different and
it's true.
his employment might get in the way.
Yeah, so Banneker Center is run by Parks and Rec.
Mhm.
Where does Kevin, what department is he working?
That would be parks.
He's works in Parks already.
So he reports like probably directly to Tim Street.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I thought he had a
we,
great.
we like boards and commissions to have some autonomy, right? Otherwise. Nothing nefarious, but just, we like that kind of separation, so you can have some independent thinking. I agree with you. I think it's problematic.
Okay.
So I kind of landed on her with that.
I guess I land on her too as well.
Yeah.
What is her
okay.
last name?
Alvarez.
Alvarez.
So
The seat that's open, is it C1?
One.
Let me make that motion
Mhm.
to appoint Andrea Alvarez to council seat 1. Almost, Commission for the Status of
Children.
Children and Youth.
Second.
Okay. And Rollo
Yes.
and Zulik.
Yes.
Okay.
And we can just, say to, maybe send something to the mayor to the effect that we communicate with the mayor and just say.
Mhm.
He's obviously very impressive, right? So
Yeah, and
we're leaving it to your discretion.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we usually do that between Julius and I to say, hey, we interviewed, and then he'll do the same for us. Hey, if council has any vacancies, we interviewed this person, we thought they might be a great fit for it.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, so we can do that.
We have one other thing to discuss. Justin Basil.
Okay.
There. What was your opinion of what happened when he kind of blew up at staff a few months ago? A few months?
Well, he didn't blow up his staff, it was Matt Austin. who blew up
Yeah,
his
that was
staff.
Matt.
I thought, okay, I thought that was a different.
Well, he's kind of going back and forth between staff right now. Like, and you were privy to the emails where we're essentially basically just saying that when what has been expressed to legal or by legal is anytime that, you know, they are having any type of meeting with boards and commissions, staff has to be present. Staff also has to run Zooms, those different types of things. And so there is this maybe of this like mindset that maybe staff could potentially decide that they don't want to be available, and then we'll try not to allow them to have the meeting. But I do know that they are trying to have like a 8-hour retreat, and to have staff be present, that's actually something that's unheard of. I've never in the 4 years that I've been here, I've ever heard anybody doing anything like that.
To have staff not be present?
Or to be there for an 8-hour meeting. Like retreat.
Oh,
Well, here's my view. I think that, so this whole thing arose because Matt had a proposal that would give money from ESD department through the commission, routed essentially to his sister, who was running a project. And we, you know, it gets into obviously nepotism and all of that. So that was the sort of the question that was being, I think there was an attorney that came and spoke about this and decided, look, we should just steer clear of that completely.
okay.
Now, by the time she came and made that, and actually I was nervous about it too. I talked to Hopi about it as president of the council. I said, but we should just declare the act to say that this is not allowed. And just have it, the council and the mayor, you know, a decision made to do that. Because it doesn't, you know, just to avoid any hearings, right? Might be a good project, sure, but it's too close. And because you got somebody who's advocating for it on the commission. Anyway, it never came to that, actually. Carrie sent a lawyer, I can't remember her name, to the meeting. And she said it's gonna be the case that we're not going to allow this. And so, I'm sorry, but that's, you know, there are new conditions now. Justin was a little ticked because he wished that he had known earlier, because he went through we went through the whole process of evaluating the proposal and everything like that. It was Matt that really acted out and was raising his voice and kind of hostile toward Sean, you know.
Okay,
And I felt she handled it very professionally. She did not shout back or get her hackles up. She just kind of took it and carefully explained, and the attorney did too. And Matt was, I thought, looked terrible. But
Okay.
anyway,
so we're not reappointing him.
we decided not to reappoint
Okay.
him. But my opinion is that Justin does good work. He's meticulous as a chair. He's
Okay.
very, very good at running meetings. He's appreciated by the commission. It used to be back in the day, and I'm an old timer, when boards and commissions would get together just socially. They would just get together and go play frisbee and talk, and it wasn't a big deal. And I'm getting a
Open door
little,
law came in.
I'm getting a little blowback from the environmental commission, who felt a bit shut out at our deliberation on the impervious surface question. Now, you know, Joey Scanlon explained that it was kind of, you know, it was it was an oversight, it was missed, and it was because the liaison wasn't there at the time, and so it wasn't purposefully done or anything like that, but then when the Environmental Commission wanted to meet, they had to, their subcommittee, according to a member that I spoke to, could not meet as a subcommittee. They had to meet as a formal commission, and they had to post notice and blah, blah, in order to make their decision made. And it kind of put, kind of a cooling effect on the commission, because I actually thought more members might show up. But they were told by the attorney that only one member could show up. This is according to the person I talked to in the commission. Only one member could show up to read the memo, and nobody else could speak on it, identifying themselves from the commission. Now, I've never heard that before, and I don't understand what the policy is that would support that. And that's something I wanted to explore. So that's my take on it. I think that we ought to discuss it as council. And because I rely on boards and commissions to come and tell us things that I wouldn't ordinarily know, I can't keep track of
Yeah.
all the nuances that are happening in every domain of the city, environment. I used to come to plan commission meetings and give a memo, and I'm not sure that they're really invited to do that anymore. So I really want to find out, like, what's changed and why that's the case. So that's my point of view.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
Well, let's keep an eye on it for sure.
Yeah.
But thank you all for today. It's 5:04, and
Yeah.
I know that everyone wants to go home, so I will go ahead if it's all right with y'all.
One other thing though, cause I was trying to look as you all are, cause you all don't have a lot of appointment, you guys have done a really good job in making sure that so if you're deciding not to appoint Matt Austin for C3, you do have other applicants, that are available.
And
just like
Zachary
that.
Ammerman was someone that was suggested, right?
Yeah, he actually just got reappointed, you all reappointed him. Mhm. And so you have, the head archive. Okay, so you have Sarah Brinkman, Maria Arstead, Rebecca Payne. So those are only three. And I do believe maybe Julius might have interviewed Maria or Sarah. So I can also get with him to see
Okay.
what he thought about those individuals and then maybe kind of come back.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Mhm. Sounds great.
Yep, but other than that, that's it.
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna try to get the appointment or these recommendations in the memo for council staff for the
Okay,
packet.
tomorrow.
Yep,
Thank
for
you.
next week. Mhm.
Thank you.
So I forgot this, what did we decide to do about Rebecca from the Arts Commission applicant? We appointed Austin, we reappointed Gerard. And Rebecca was a good candidate. Are we gonna recommend her to the mayor?
Mhm.
Is that
Mhm.
where we
Yep.
decided?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, done.
yep. And so what I'll do is I'll just, I was trying to chat Julius to see if he had anything, but he's out. So he will be back tomorrow. So I'll get in contact with him to let him know that you all recommend Rebecca.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Awesome, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yes. This meeting is
Adjourned.
adjourned.
Okay, thank you.
Team.